In Venezuela, the great national caravan Furia Bolivariana began in defense of sovereignty and in support of the 25 years of the Bolivarian Revolution. In Chile, authorities registered at least 19 people dead following wildfires that broke out on Friday in Valparaiso. And in Palestine, Israeli occupation forces committed 12 massacres in Gaza, killing 107 people and injuring 165 others. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. In Venezuela, the great national caravan Furia Bolivariana began in defense of sovereignty and in support of the 25 years of the Bolivarian Revolution. The mobilization departed from the state of Táchira to the Venezuelan capital under the slogan Nos vamos pa Caracas, with the objective of rejecting foreign interference and defending freedom, sovereignty, and peace. The caravan was preceded by the governor of Táchira, Freddy Bernal, who affirmed that he was proud of this movement. This Sunday, February 4th, citizens from different states of the country will gather in the Venezuelan capital to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Bolivarian Revolution.
Constituye un inmenso honor.
It is an immense honor to lead this Furia Bolivariana caravan, none other than on this beautiful border where Bolivar crossed in 1830 with a flag like this one, hoisting it to give freedom to Venezuela. Likewise, on this very border, in 2019, the patriots of Mérida, together, people of Mérida and Caracas, defended the homeland from an invasion and a war that the U.S. Empire wanted to inflict on us.
Citizens participating in the Furia Bolivariana caravan highlight the importance of the initiative to remind the world that Venezuela is a free country.
Today starts the great caravan to the city of Caracas in defense of our homeland. For 5 years, our youth that was present in the Battle of the Four Brigades is the one that today also says that we want peace, that we want sovereignty, that we want tranquility in every corner of our state of Táchira. This youth that today once again tells the world that Venezuela is a free country, a sovereign country, and that we do not agree that an international and military interference wants to come and steal from us what belongs to us, which is our peace.
In Chile, according to official reports, at least 19 people have died due to wildfires that broke out Friday at midnight in Valparaiso. Interior and Public Safety Minister Carolina Toja said that the 19 confirmed fatalities are from the port city and from Chapullas, which is the area to which the authorities have had access to, whereas there are other areas they have not been able to access. So there are some more fatalities yet to be confirmed. Minister Toja said they are working on clearing corridors for evacuation and rescue efforts.
The report so far of fatalities is very provisional. The truth is that the fatalities that we have confirmed are all from the same sector, the Villa Independencia in the Chupayar sector. This is because it is a sector that had a very strong presence of the fire, and today it is possible to enter the place. But there are other areas of the fire where still do not have a confirmed report. So the data in this sense is very provisional. There are 19 people dead, of which all of the bodies have already been recovered, of which 15 have already been identified. One of the 19 people is a young woman under 70 years. There is a lot of work to be done regarding to the identification of these people.
Chile's Minister of the Interior and Public Safety said that alternative routes will be set up only for evacuations and the entry of emergency personnel.
At noon ends the curfew that was announced yesterday. However, the call to the population is that unless they have essential things to do related to evacuations or situations of close relatives who require support, it is advisable not to move. The idea is that the roads are used exclusively for evacuations and the work of the security and emergency services.
In Argentina, red alert continues due to a heat wave affecting several provinces center and north of the country. The Meteorological Service reported that 15 provinces are affected, including Buenos Aires and the city of San Juan, with a record high of 42.2 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, the agency said the red alert is issued when recorded temperatures can be dangerous and may affect even the healthiest of people. Therefore, citizens are advised to increase water consumption, pay special attention to children and the elderly, not to consume caffeinated beverages, and to avoid sun exposure. Several electoral monitoring missions have been in El Salvador for several days. With less than 24 hours to go before the elections, some experts point out anomalies in the process. The Center for Exchange and Solidarity, which will be observing the process in El Salvador and also in the United States, the country with the largest number of voting centers abroad, has carried out several activities. Leslie Schultz, its executive director, warns about the strong military presence in the streets and the absence of police officers. They also expressed concern about the lack of an electoral bed because the parties have not received the public debt, which is an obligation of the state, while on the part of the president there is a massive campaign which includes the distribution of food packages and school supplies, a practice which is forbidden by law. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, reported that at least 3 million children in Haiti could be in need of humanitarian aid as violence continues to escalate. The report states that at least 170,000 minors left their homes forced by gun violence, which presented an alarming increase with respect to the year 2023. In this regard, UNICEF highlighted that in the last 2 weeks, nearly 2,500 people, mostly women and children, were displaced due to conflicts in Solino and Gabeliste, the two neighborhoods of Port-au-Prince, the capital of the Caribbean nation. Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. Other stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back from the south. Israeli occupation forces committed 12 massacres in the Gaza Strip during the last 24 hours, killing 107 people and injuring 165 others. According to the Ministry of Health, the number of Palestinians killed since October 7, 2023 rose to some 27,238, while the number of wounded stood at more than 66,452 people. This as a result of the persistent attacks and shelling by the Israeli occupying forces. However, medical sources revealed that in addition, thousands of civilians are still missing under the rubble and scattered on the roads, so these figures could even be higher than those registered to date. This Saturday marks the 120th day since the Tel Aviv regime's troops began their offensive against Gaza. Hamas wants to end the present conflict and have Israel withdraw from Gaza. Our correspondent in the ground, Nur Harasin, has more.
It has been few days now since the Qatari foreign minister said in a statement that Israel has accepted a ceasefire draft and that they proposed this draft to Hamas, and Hamas is negotiating and reviewing this ceasefire. However, since then there were no words from Hamas, and this maybe proves the talks about from the officials about Hamas wanting a complete ceasefire. They want the war to end. They want a complete withdrawal, Israeli withdrawal from the Palestinian land. At the same time, Hamas proposed some serious names from Palestinian prisoners to be freed from the Israeli presence. What is happening now, no one actually knows. However, people on the ground, they are hopeful, even though Israel continue its attacks on Gaza. According to the Palestinian Health Ministry, 107 Palestinians were killed in Gaza over the past 24 hours. And this brings up the death toll here in Gaza since the 7th of October up to 27,223 Palestinians killed. 70% of them are women and children. Noor Harazin, TeleSUR, Gaza.
The Palestinian government warned of the consequences of an Israeli offensive against the southern Gaza city of Rafah, where over 1.5 million people are sheltered The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates denounced Israel's plans to initiate a new round of genocide in Rafah and its surroundings, putting the life of over 1.5 million Palestinians in serious and real danger. This came after Israel's defense chief Yoav Gallant and other officials reported the imminent attack on Rafah following the conclusion of its offensive in the city of Han Yunis. The Palestinian Foreign Ministry condemned the international community's inability to stop the war and forced that country to allow humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip, while the occupation forces continued to attack health centers and shelters in an effort to exterminate everything in Gaza and turn it into an uninhabitable area. The Palestinian Red Crescent denounced the attacks of the Israeli occupation forces against its headquarters building near the Al-Amal hospital. Through a statement, the relief organization condemned the murder of at least 4 people inside the facilities. The humanitarian movement described as dangerous the actions of Israel, which for the last 13 days has maintained a siege against the hospital located in the city of Han Yunis. According to data from the medical organization, the Israeli attacks against the surroundings of the health building have caused the death of 43 citizens and wounded 143 others. In view of the lack of supplies and the recurring attacks, the Red Crescent called for the opening of a humanitarian corridor to allow the exit of the wounded, refugees and sick inside the Al-Amal hospital. Displaced Palestinians in Rafah demand a ceasefire and an end to the war, stressing that they want to return to their hometowns even if they find their houses reduced to rubble.
I hope that the war will end soon and that everyone will return to their homes safe and sound. We don't want wars. The war brought nothing but destruction to both sides. We hope to return to our homes even if they are destroyed. Here we feel like strangers. Prices are high here and everything is expensive. We hope to return to our homes even if they are destroyed. We hope that this war ends because we are exhausted. We demand that politicians reach a ceasefire so that we can return to our homes. Life is difficult here, and we are not accustomed to this. We are helpless civilians. Why are they bombing everyone?
In the United Kingdom, citizens took to the streets to show their support for the people of Palestine. Demonstrators organized a rally in the city of London this Saturday from noon local time. As confirmed by the organizations, the mobilization will pass near the Palace of Westminster, the seat of the British Parliament. The demonstrators demand an immediate end to the Israeli siege against the Gaza Strip and the recognition of an independent Palestinian state. Local media confirmed the presence of security agents and a large number of demonstrators, so this Saturday's march is expected to be one of the largest since the intensification of the Israeli aggression against Gaza on October 7, 2023. In Syria, defense officials denounced U.S. airstrikes against Syrian army positions in the province of Deir ez-Zor, killing several soldiers and wounding others. The Syrian Defense Ministry reported that the attacked areas are the same ones where the Syrian army is fighting the remnants of the Daesh group, which is on the international terrorist list. The security agency accused Washington of resorting to dirty means to revive Daesh and considered that this radical group represents the armed wing of the United States in Syria and Iraq. The defense minister considered that the U.S. aggression is unjustified and only seeks to weaken the capacity of the Syrian Arab Army and its allies in the fight against terrorism. Russia condemned British and U.S. aggressions against sovereign states with terrorist targets in Syria and Iraq. Maria Zakharova, spokeswoman for the Russian Foreign Ministry, stated that they are working with the UN Security Council for urgent studies on these new flagrant acts. She also pointed out that the United States launched massive aerial bombardments from Friday night until Saturday, February 3rd, against 85 targets linked to the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and associated forces. Zakharova also reported that among the targets hit were command posts, intelligence centers, missile storage facilities, and drones that guaranteed the supply chains of ammunition for the Revolutionary Guard forces. We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience, you can scan the QR code on screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin America and Caribbean as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with TeleSUR. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back from the south. In Germany, over 150,000 people gathered in front of the German National Parliament on Saturday to protest against the far right. The pro-democracy demonstrations began 3 weeks ago after the investigative journalist group Corrective published an article saying that far-right extremists had recently met to discuss the deportation of millions of migrants, including some with German citizenship. Similar protests against the far right were held on Saturday in other German cities, including the southern city of Freiburg and the western city of Hanover. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz praised the protest. In Poland, the Self-Employed Farmers Union continues its protest against the increase in energy, fuel and fertilizer prices. Farmers reject the inaction of the national authorities and condemn their government's commitment to respect all the decisions of the European Commission on the increase in energy costs, the rise in the prices of inputs such as fertilizers and the increase of imports into the bloc of foodstuff cheaper than those grown. The union denounced that such measures directly affect the community agricultural industry. In this sense, they called for a general strike for Friday, February 9th and Saturday, February 10th, in which they intend to block roads, highways and border crossings with neighboring Ukraine. In Senegal, President Macky Sall announced the indefinite postponement of the presidential election scheduled for February 25th, just hours before official campaigning was due to start.
I have signed Decree 2024-106 of February 3, 2024, repealing Decree 2023-2283 of November 29, 2023, convening the electoral body. For my part, my solemn undertaking not to run in the presidential election remains unchanged.
In the Senegalese capital, residents are divided over President Macky Sall's shock decision to postpone the president's election, a first in the history of Senegal since independence.
On the one hand, I agree. Why do I agree? Because there are candidates who have declared that they have only one nationality, and now after verification we've discovered that one candidate has two nationalities, so that's a problem. As for the Senegalese Democratic Party, they also suspected corruption on behalf of the Constitutional Council. These are all problems that have led to the postponement of elections in Senegal.
Non, c'est pas une bonne décision.
No, it's not a good decision. Whatever he might do, he should have respected the democratic calendar and whatever, because what we have seen in our country is that we have a crisis within Beno Boko Jakar, not an institutional crisis. That's the reality. So he should have vitally respected the electoral calendar and let us go to the polls and let the best man win.
In Pakistan, a court sentenced former Prime Minister Imran Khan and his wife Bushra Bibi to 7 years, ruling that their 2018 marriage violated the Islamic law. The civil court set up inside the Adiala jail in Rawalpindi city, where Khan is imprisoned, delivered the sentence on Saturday. It also imposed a fine of $3,560 on them. Bibi's former husband, Kawar Maneka, alleged that his divorced wife did not observe the necessary 3-month break required under Islamic law. It is Khan's third conviction this week and a second for his wife ahead of general elections on Thursday. The series of convictions against Khan have cast a long shadow on the February 8th elections. The vote is also held amid a severe crackdown on the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party, which has also been barred from using its election symbol, forcing its candidates to contest as independents. Yet most surveys continue to show Khan as the country's most popular leader. In China, authorities confirmed that 9 satellites have been launched and positioned on Earth orbit. The Chinese Yelong 3 rocket was launched from an offshore platform based in the southern province of Guangdong. According to local media, this is the third takeoff of Yelong series, with the ability of carrying up to 20 satellites at a relatively low cost compared to other rockets performing the same task. The launching of Chinese satellites into orbit responds to a request from President Xi Jinping for the expansion of strategic industries in the space sector, considered essential for the construction of communications, navigation and remote detection. We have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our social media on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.